Huge news this morning as Manchester United and Barcelona finally agree a fee of 85 million euros for Frenkie De Jong, and another huge update in the Lisandro Martinez to Manchester United story from Fabrizio Romano. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. We are here in Thailand at the Manchester United team hotel. You can see the buses there behind me, and there has been some huge breaking news through the night, and this is coming from Oriol Domenech, very highly regarded journalist in this situation, considered a tier 2 source for Barcelona, which means he is very reliable. United and Barca agreement at lunchtime, transfer figure 85 million euros. Now, we've been talks for the last week or two that an initial fee of around 65 million euros had been agreed, and we were working towards a further 20 million euro add-on package. This, whilst it falls in line with those reports that we'd already seen, is now showing that that package has been concluded. It seems as though United and Barcelona finally have everything sorted on the fee front, whether it's that 65 million with 20 add-ons, and those add-ons have been made slightly more easier, or whether that means that it's a 75 plus 10, or maybe it's just 85 million euros up front. This impasse has been here because of those unpaid wages to Frenkie De Jong. It looks as though they have made this slightly easier to pay those add-ons, so that that money that was meant to be paid by Barcelona, let's not forget, will now look like it will be paid by Manchester United with these very realistic add-ons. Again, Oriol Domenech coming out in the last few hours saying that there has been an agreement at lunchtime, a transfer figure of 85 million euros. Let me know your thoughts on this. Are you happy that this deal looks like we've finally broken that impasse? We saw yesterday Richard Arnold and John Murtaugh in Barcelona trying to get this deal over the line, sending out the big boys to really sort of break this deadlock that United and Barcelona have been facing for the last few days. It looks as though that deadlock has now been broken. And this, if this works out the way it seems like it's going to, this is absolutely massive for Manchester United. We've seen Ten Hag in training, we've seen how he's spoken, we've seen how the players have spoken about him, and Frenkie De Jong, for me, is such an integral piece to settling Ten Hag in and settling Ten Hag's system in at Manchester United. He knows how he plays, he knows that he wants him. The only point now is getting that contract sorted with Frenkie De Jong, insisting and assuring him that whilst, yes, maybe you don't want to leave Barcelona in an ideal world, even if you do leave, this can benefit you, this can benefit your career, and you can benefit and help Manchester United as well. That is the job now at hand for Ten Hag and Manchester United, convincing Frenkie De Jong that this is the move for him. It seems as though that all the paperwork will just be a formality. There have been reports for a long time that personal terms will not be an issue should we get to this point. And again, just to reiterate, Oriol Domenech coming out saying that United and Barca have made an agreement at lunchtime, transfer figure 85 million euros. It looks as though we are in the very final stages of this one. Arnold and Murtaugh turn up, and this deal is crossing the line. Absolutely massive news this morning from Manchester United. Let's move on to our second story then, and this one is an update from Fabrizio Romano on Lisandro Martinez. He is saying the following, that Manchester United now believe that the deal with Lisandro Martinez is very close, and that means that United are looking at around a £50 million fee, rising up to potentially 60 million. His exact quote is, Manchester United are now feeling confident on Lisandro Martinez. Ajax are open to discuss the fee. New contact expected very soon after bid rejected last week. Lisandro pushing again with Ajax to leave the club this summer. That seems to be the big difference with this one. Martinez is doing everything he can to get this deal over the line. Again, there's been reports of a €50 million bid turned down, but it seems as though that hasn't dissuaded Manchester United, and that hasn't meant that our interest has gone away. We're going again in the coming days to try to get Lisandro Martinez. And we mentioned this on the podcast yesterday, but it was interesting that we're clearly after Martinez. Everyone from the Ajax side, from the United side, are confirming that there is genuine interest here. And yet Ten Hag said we weren't signing a defender. He said we're looking for midfield options and we're looking for an attacking options. Does that mean Martinez will come in as that number 6 we've been looking at and needing for so long? That will be one to keep an eye on, but it looks as though there's big moves happening on the Lisandro Martinez front as well as the Frenkie De Jong front. A final story as well. from Duncan Castles, who, you know, his reputation can sort of go up and down depending on who is in charge, but he's always been very reliable when it comes to his Portuguese sources. George Mendes clients, very much his wheelhouse. He was very important when United did a lot of dealings with George Mendes over the last few years. He always has very good sources placed in Portugal. He says that Manchester United are making headway in the attempt to persuade Cristiano Ronaldo to remain at Old Trafford. Basically, it looks as though Ronaldo may be changing his mind due to a multitude of factors. One, that we're insistent we don't want to sell him, and number two, there may be slightly less offers on the table than Cristiano Ronaldo originally thought, which is, you know, he's a 37-year-old on a lot of money, and his teams haven't won the league in a couple of years. Maybe teams are kind of looking at that thinking, we could spend that 500-600 grand a week elsewhere, and maybe that means that Ronaldo is slightly easier to convince to stay at Manchester United, which has clearly been United's option this whole time. Very interesting there. Obviously, that Ronaldo story will run and run, but it's interesting that United are holding steady so far, saying he's not going anywhere. We aren't changing our minds on that. Cristiano Ronaldo will be here next season. Hopefully, that will be the case. It'd be nice, I think, to see a bit of bottle from United, to show that we are a club that is bigger than any player. And whilst sometimes that might mean letting someone go if they're, you know, showing signs of dissent or showing signs that they want to leave, sometimes that might mean actually what's best for the club is to keep him. And you've signed a contract, and therefore we're going to keep you. It remains to be seen, like I said, exactly what will happen with Cristiano Ronaldo. But Duncan Castles, who's very well informed on these matters, is saying United are making headway to keep Cristiano Ronaldo. Anyway, get your thoughts in the comments below. Hit subscribe. We are here in Thailand. Of course, we'll have all the build-up to the game from the studio, match reaction, reviews, and post-match content from Thailand as well. So make sure you're checking out Stretford Paddock. Hit subscribe. Let us know what you think to this news. Apparently an €85 million fee has been agreed for Frenkie De Jong. Good stuff if you ask me. We'll see you in a bit.